So while I'm at it here, I'm also going to make sure that I go to After Effects and Preferences, and I'm going to go to my autosave vault. Because when you go back to default settings, it's going to set up your autosave so that it's every 20 minutes. And frankly, that's way too long. You're going to make changes and you're going to forget to manually save, and the program's going to glitch or something stupid's going to happen, and you're not going to be happy when that does happen. So we'll make sure we do that. Now, because as it says, it's supposed to be a sunrise. What's interesting here is if you go all the way down to the bottom here, there's actually two layers. And we're going to use that solo button. And what that solo button does, basically, it just solos that layer. It just turns all the layers off, so you're just looking at that layer. So that one's called background lit. So that is the lit background. And then, of course, if you solo the background, you can see that is the dark background. So that's going to be the beginning of simulating a sunrise. And we're going to do that simply by playing with one of the transform properties between these two layers here to give us that illusion, if you will. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our playhead out initially, out to 5 seconds. And that's basically where we're going to start messing around with this stuff. So what we're going to do at 5 seconds is we're going to go to the background lit layer and we're going to hit T to reveal the opacity. Now the opacity is a property that is present on every layer, and we're going to use that to create this illusion of the room going from dark to light. Currently at default, you can see it's 100%, which means it's totally opaque, so we can't see through it. If I start reducing that, I can start seeing any other layers that are underneath it. And in this particular case, it would be the background, which is the darker one. But I don't want to do that now. I'm going to drop a keyframe, and I'm going to work backwards. So now you can see there's a blue diamond, which is a keyframe. And what I can do now is I want to take my playhead back all the way to the beginning, 0 seconds, 0 frames. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this opacity value and change it to 0. So 0%, which means it's completely invisible. And now you can see the change in the composition. Now if I take my playhead and drag it, yeah, okay, so you get the idea that, okay, that's kind of cool. So basically just a simple kind of fading one layer in over top of the other layer, but because of the way they're set up, it kind of gives you a cool effect. Now, there's also some issues here, and again, what we're striving for is realism. There's actually another layer that is called window pane, and what we're going to do is it creates like a little bevel on the edge of the window. So we also want that to simulate the dark to light, which it clearly isn't doing as well as it could because it's on a separate layer. So if we go to window pane, and if you want to solo that, that's all that is. It's basically just a hole, and that's what a mask is, or an alpha channel. It's just a hole. So what we're going to do now is we're going to set that layer up to create a kind of opacity fade in. On this one, we're going to go and expand those properties, and actually all we're going to look at is the opacity for that one. So we'll go to 2 seconds, and what we'll do is opacity is, again, it's if you look at it, there's a setting, it says 30%, and so we're going to use that and then drop a keyframe for that value at 30%. And then what we'll do is we'll take the playhead all the way back to 0, and we'll set that opacity now for 0, and it'll create a new keyframe. So now when we do it, you can see how the interior bevel of the window also creates that illusion, right? And again, that's all being done with simple opacity transitions. Keyframes, each one of those keyframes is given 2 values, space and time, or for fancy lettering or wording if you want, spatial and temporal. Hey, say that a few times and you'll sound smart. Hopefully you'll look smart too, but I can't guarantee that. So yeah, that's creating that illusion. It basically, when you're doing this, you're basically just kind of fading in from one layer to another to get that illusion. Okay, let's see what else we can do.